WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Ackerman is one of the few towns in Mississippi to be home to more than one governor. Today, the community honors the men with a governor's park. Our Cash Matlock was there and has the story.
You wouldn't think that a town of 1,500 people, northeast Mississippi, would produce two governors in 30 years. I mean, it wasn't that long a time.
Ray Mabus was the 60th governor of Mississippi, the 75th United States Secretary of the Navy, and the former ambassador to Saudi Arabia. At the unveiling of the new governor's park in Ackerman, he reflected on those achievements, along with many others throughout his life.
This means the world to me because this is where I got the foundation for whatever I've managed to achieve in my life. These are the people, these are the values that I learned.
Former Governor J.P. Coleman was also honored at the event. His grandson, Josiah, shared memories of his late grandfather.
It's amazing to see what he meant to the individuals that lived in this community. He wasn't just a guy that held office who lived here. He was part of it. And emotionally, that means a lot to me. It's something to emulate and to try to copy.
U.S. Senator Roger Wicker worked with both former governors during his career.
I've always been proud that I was a young tyke supporting him in 1963. And then when it comes to Ray Mabus, it happens that I was elected state senator the same day he was elected governor.
The new park features a playground, a gazebo, and a platform for hopscotch. However, the political legacy of the town is what many hope future generations will remember.
I think when you see a town like Ackerman that's had two governors come out of it, and there are other towns that share distinctions as well, that you just kind of want them to see that as an example.
This is a salute to small town America. And when you talk about small town America, you're talking about Mississippi.
It's not how much money you accumulate, it's not how much stuff you get, it's a service that you give. Do something that is going to outlive you. Do something that is bigger than you are. And that's what I hope people take away. And it doesn't matter where you start.
In Ackerman, Cash Matlock, WCBI News.
And for more information on the new Governor's Park there in Ackerman, you can go to our website, wcbi.com. Well, the U.S. Senate this week approved a measure that will provide the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers with resources to improve and maintain flood control projects, ports, and waterways in Mississippi. It includes a new $525 million regional dredge demonstration program for the Gulf of Mexico and lower Mississippi River area. High water levels, along with historic flood levels this year, led to the extended opening of the Bonnie Carey spillway. U.S. Senator Roger Wicker says opening the spillway can be economically damaging.
So if the federal government in its wisdom, if the Corps of Engineers in their wisdom are going to keep opening that, then they really should be prepared to give economic compensation, because we know when that happens, it's going to hurt the economy of South Mississippi.
Bonnie Carey is one of two major spillways in Mississippi. The other is the Morganza Spillway. A West Point elementary school student gets a heartwarming surprise this morning. We love these stories. Fourth grader Kingston Branham, right there with that surprised look on his face, had a special visitor to his classroom. It was his dad, Sergeant First Class Kenneth Branham, who surprised Kingston after returning home from a 10-month deployment. Sergeant First Class Branham had been in Kuwait with the 184th. The elementary school was his first stop, as you can imagine, after he got home today. Well, there was another inspiring moment at Southside Elementary this morning there in West Point. Third graders got a first-hand account of September 11th, 2001 from a survivor who was pulled from the rubble of the World Trade Center towers. Students filled the West Point school cafeteria to hear from Will Jimeno. He was a police officer for the Port Authority the day terrorists flew planes through the World Trade Center. Through a Skype interview, Jimeno walked the students through what it was like that day and how he and his fellow officers were scared, but they knew they had to do their jobs, and that saved lives.
At that moment, I just felt helpless. I saw the people jumping, and I felt every time somebody jumped, that was somebody's mother, brother, sister. Why did I tell you this? Because each and every one of you guys touch a lot of lives, believe it or not. Every time, if you disappear today, there'll be people that miss you.
And Jimeno told those students that he was trapped with several other officers under debris and rubble. He and a few other brave men were pulled from the rubble after both towers collapsed. He encouraged those students today to face their fears, be courageous, and to help others even in the face of danger. Time now to turn things over to meteorologist Trevor Burchett to get a first look at our forecast on this Friday. Hey, Trevor.
Hey there, Andrea. Plenty of sun out there on the Alpha Insurance Camera Network. This is a live look from our building here at Wcbi in downtown Columbus. Not one cloud in the sky, but of course with all that sun, it means it's hot. Still at 6 o'clock, we are at 94 degrees. Heat index close to 100. These temperatures, luckily though, will start to fall down. Here's a look at your end zone forecast. Friday night football into the 80s by 7 o'clock and eventually getting down into the low 80s by 9 o'clock under a mostly clear sky. Just a few clouds out there. Andrea?
Freedom comes to an end in Pickens County, Alabama. 51-year-old John Deerhigh was arrested today. Pickens County Sheriff Todd Hall referred all questions to Reform Police, but no one there was available for comment this afternoon. The Kentucky Department of Corrections website lists Deerhigh as an escaped prisoner with 4 convictions. He first went in the prison system back in May. Calls to the Kentucky Corrections Department and state police have not been returned. The Pickens County website lists Deerhigh as being in jail and an escapee from Kentucky. We will bring you more information as it becomes available to us. A 5th arrest is made in connection to that violent fight last weekend in Starkville. Police arrested 21-year-old Elijah Nelson of Biloxi today. He's charged with simple assault. A fight early Sunday morning happened in the Cotton District. Police arrested who they believe were the instigators of that fight earlier this week. Police say the large brawl started after 2 men allegedly verbally assaulted a woman. The fight was caught on video and circulated all over social media. Police still asking anyone with information on the fight to give them a call. The Lowndes County Sheriff's Office is asking for help finding 2 people wanted in connection to a stolen dump trailer. 38-year-old Courtney Thompson and 42-year-old Brian Bowman may be driving a black Chevrolet Tahoe. The car has Monroe County tags with the license plate number MIB 3358. The trailer has since been found on Blaylock Road. Anyone who has information on these 2, call the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office or Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. One lane of Main Street in Okolona will be closed through the weekend. Public Works Superintendent Richie Cousins says a water line cracked and needs repairing. He says age played a role in the damage, but a boil water notice is not needed in this case. Cousins is encouraging drivers to be cautious as they make their way through downtown. He hopes the lane will reopen early next week. Coming up, a Starkville legend was a leader on the football field and at City Hall. When we come back, we take a look at the life and legacy of Billy Stacy. Welcome back. A former mayor of Starkville and MSU football standout was laid to rest today. Billy Stacy passed away Tuesday. Stacy was known for his excellence on the field and his service to his community. Our Riley Livingston sat down with one of his former teammates for a look back.
The year was 1955, and Billy Stacy had made his way to Mississippi State. In just a few short years, he would become an All-American and end his career with over 2,300 offensive yards and 19 touchdowns.
It was so evident so early that he was one of the best that had probably come to play on these fields here at Mississippi State. He was outstanding. I remember in our junior year, I guess, he led in 4 departments here.
Former teammate Charlie Weatherly has fond memories of their time on the team. One of his favorites takes him back to 1957 when the Maroons faced the Crimson Tide.
We were playing Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and he led in every department back at that time and in that game too. But he threw me 2 touchdown passes, and I always said when you connected on a pass with Billy Stacy, he did 75% of the work because he would always put the pass in your hands. And had I dropped that one that he threw me for a touchdown that day, I wouldn't be around here anymore, I don't think.
And their friendship went beyond the football field. Over the years, they stayed in contact.
Treasured my friendship with him more than I can actually say. His family and my family sort of grew up here together. My son and his son played little league football together, and Billy and I were coaches back in that time, and our coaching record wasn't too good either.
When Stacy took the plunge into politics, Weatherly supported him.
I think that was his outgoing nature, his ability to mix with people on any level. He was just a great person, and he took on that job with sincerity and dignity, and with all the effort that was required of it. I'm sure he did as good as anybody could have.
And Weatherly says he will always remember Stacy's strong character, high morals, and his commitment to what he loved.
Plenty of sun all across the area on the Alpha Insurance Camera Network, and of course, that means heat. I'll show you exactly how long this heat is going to stick around coming up right after this in my 7-day forecast.
Here's your WCBI First Alert weather forecast.
If you're headed out the door this evening, either to one of the high school football games or just out maybe to the pool, you're definitely going to need a way to cool off, either with some bottled water, or like I said, a dip in the pool sounds just perfect right now to me. Heat index in Columbus at this hour, still 99 degrees. Over at GTR, it feels like 104. Feels like 95 in Starkville right now, and a pair of 97s for Memphis and Jackson. So even as we get into the 6 o'clock hour, it is still feeling very hot out there. Now, earlier today, we broke a couple of record highs around the area. 101 broke the record in Tuscaloosa. Same story in Meridian. They hit 102. We've got some 100s on the map as well. And Birmingham broke their record high. I believe it was 97. They hit 99 today. So some record-breaking heat all across the area. For tonight, we're eventually going to get into the 80s. I think by about 7 o'clock we'll be at around 88. So as the kickoff happens for most of the high school football games, temperatures will slowly be on the decline, and then eventually we'll be into the mid-70s by about 10 o'clock and slowly into the low 70s by tomorrow morning with a mostly clear sky. Now for tomorrow, it's going to be another hot one if you're headed out to the football games. Then 95 for our high in Columbus, 94 in Starkville, 91 in Pontotoc, 94 down in Kosciuszko, and 93 in Eupora. So it is going to be another hot one. The good news is the humidity won't be as high as what we're used to this time of year. So even though we're used to seeing heat index values anywhere from 110, maybe even 115 with this type of heat, we're only going to be dealing with a heat index just over 100. So it's still going to be hot, still going to be humid, but you might not sweat as much as you're used to in this type of heat. So Kansas State versus MSU tomorrow, getting into those mid-90s by the fourth quarter. And then same story in Ole Miss up in Oxford. They're starting a little bit later, so they're going to be starting in the 90s and eventually working their way down into the mid-80s. And a quick tropical update for you. We're keeping a close eye out on this disturbance. Tropical Depression 9, just to the east of the Bahamas. Very unorganized, and unfortunately, we were expecting this to maybe come in our direction and give us some relief in the way of rain. But you can see it's made a 180-degree turn and a complete U-turn out to sea, which is good. As you can see, it's expected to become a Category 1 hurricane. So no major impacts expected. That's the last thing that the Bahamas and Florida need right now. But as I mentioned, no major rain chances in play. Maybe a shower here or there, and that means we're going to stay very hot for the next 7 days, anywhere from the mid to possibly upper 90s, depending on how far south you are.
Downtown Starkville smelled and looked more like the junction at MSU today. More than 20 businesses and organizations took part in the annual citywide tailgate. The tents were set up all across the city, offering a variety of foods and lots of fun activities. This event helps to connect the community.
But it's just a great day for everyone to come together. You'll see people going, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in ages. Where have you been? Or people saying, where'd you say you were from and do you know? It's just that kind of day, and they're building a stronger community for us.
And the overall goal of the event is to raise money for the United Way of North Central Mississippi and the agencies it supports.
We are here at Starkville High School for the end zone game of the week. Starkville getting ready to take on Louisville. The Starkville High School cheerleaders are going to have some fun with us when we come back after the break. Stay with us.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Welcome to our WCBI end zone game of the week. It's going to be the Louisville Wildcats here at the Hive taking on the Starkville Yellow Jackets. Both of these teams coming in tonight looking for that major win against the 4A, 6A matchup that we've got going on here now. Louisville coming off a huge win to Columbus. Starkville coming off a close loss against West Point. So Starkville definitely wants to pick up another win tonight and home is definitely the place for the Yellow Jackets to be able to do it. The Yellow Jackets have not lost a home game here since 2014, 30 straight home wins, and of course that's probably because of the football team, but I've got a feeling it has something to do with this fantastic home spirit. Joining me are the Starkville Yellow Jacket cheerleaders, and I wanted to learn some of that school spirit that they have going on that keeps it such a great atmosphere here. So they're going to teach me that. Sound good, these guys? Yeah! Okay, so they're going to teach me this cheer. I'm going to have to put my mic down for a hot second, so excuse me.
S-T-A-R-K-V-I-L-L-E, Starkville Jackets for the fastest way and see. S-T-A-R-K-V-I-L-L-E, Starkville Jackets for the fastest way and see. Awesome. S-T-A-R-K-V-I-L-L-E, Starkville Jackets for the fastest way and see. Let's get it.
So really quickly, everyone, who do you think is going to pick up the win tonight? Now I have another question for you. Do you guys think I can do a cheer maybe a little more athletic than what we just did?
Yeah!
You want to see me do it?
Yeah!
Okay, we're going to do this. So give me a second. I have to put the mic down again, but we're going to get to it.
Y'all start to cheer. Just do the motion with the air. Okay. S-T-A-R-K-V-I-L-L-E, Starkville Jackets for the fastest way and see. S-T-A-R-K-V-I-L-L-E, Starkville Jackets for the fastest way and see. What's up? S-T-A-R-K-V-I-L-L-E, Starkville Jackets for the fastest way and see. Okay,
So obviously we have a fantastic game for you coming up tonight. A fantastic cheerleading squad that's hopefully going to do what they have to do to help the Yellow Jackets get the win that they need. And I think they're pretty confident, right? Yeah! I'm thinking so. So of course we'll have all those highlights for you coming up tonight on WCBI End Zone. We'll see you then. Reporting here at Starkville High School, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports. We'll have more for you after the break. Let's get it done!
Lots of sun for the next 7 days. Unfortunately, I think we could use some relief in the way of some rainfall. We were hoping that little tropical system was going to make its way over here, give us some rain. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So notice we're 10 to 20% chance for rain, maybe a shower each day. Doesn't look likely, though. We're going to stay in those mid to possibly upper 90s, depending on how far south you are. Temperatures do start to go down just a little bit by the end of the week. Maybe by next weekend, we start to see some cooler temperatures. But for the most part, most everybody is going to stay warm, hot. Good news is not quite as humid as we have been for the last little bit.
All right, fantastic. But still be careful out there at those games. That's the news at 6. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.